Greetings, literature lovers. Today we are going to talk about semiotics, what it is all about, and how it really exemplified. Or let's get to the definition. It is a study of signs and symbols. It looks how signs and symbols are used to communicate and develop interpretations. Derived from the Greek word semiotics, and which means an observant of signs. So that's how it is. Now, talking about the advantages of semiotics, allow us to break down a message into its component parts and examine them separately and in a relationship to one another. Allows us to look for patterns across different forms of communication. Helps us to understand how our culture and social conventions relate to the communication we create and consume. Helps us to get beyond the obvious, which may not be obvious after all. Now, signs and symbols. Sign is a symbol which is understood to refer to something other than itself. Symbol is an object that represents, stands for, or suggests an idea or visual images. These are some of the examples given below. Now, who were the famous theorists who talked about it? Ferdinand D, Ronald Barthes, Stuart Hall, Charles Peirce, all were there. We have discussed all these theories in our earlier videos. Let's get into some of the details, including Ferdinand D, how he elaborated it. He was a Swiss linguistic who created the term semiotics, and he distinguished between signifier and signified. Now, sign is made up of signifier and the image or sound that gives a meaning. Example, the blue color signified. The concept or meaning that the sign refers to, example, the blue color, is often associated with sadness or the sea. Here the signifier is rose, signified is the symbol, and the signified second is the passion that shows it. Therefore, for a sign to be considered a sign, it must have a signifier and a signified. Now, Shaw argued that words are verbal signifiers that are personal to whoever is interpreting them. A signifier can have many different representations which can turn into a different sign. A signifier and signified in a camera movement, you can see pan down, power authorization, pan up, small or weak, dolly in, focus, fade in. If you use a camera, you must be aware of these examples, how it goes. Next, talking about Ronald Barthes, he was a French literary theorist, critic, and like Chauchat was also interested in semiotics, and his semiotic theory focuses on how signs and photographs represent different cultures and ideologies in different ways. Now, these messages are established in two ways: denotation, the literary meaning of the sign, that is connotation. Now, the suggested meaning of the sign and the culture conversions associated with the sign. Now, talking about the spectacles, how it goes: denotation is a sign, optometry, eyes, long and short sight, lens, glass, and connotation is a standard intelligence, scientist, teacher, physical weakness. All these come along with this. Next, we are going to talk about myth. It refers to the collective unconscious meaning created as a result of a semiotic process. Now, Barthes proposed that a myth is a chain of semiotic events which, when experienced or seen by members of society, creates a subconscious meaning. Example can be when members of society come across the signs of McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut. The myth would be consumerism, capitalism, and obesity, obviously. Now, society members will not register on a conscious level where the literal meaning is that they are restaurants. That's all for today. Rest of the portion we'll discuss later on. Do share your views in the comment section. Like the video if you do. That's all for today. Keep exploring, keep studying. That's the only way you can survive. Thanks for listening.